Hi, I'm Rebekah Ricks. I'm here at the Homeschool Connection on Your Brew. And a brew is a mixture of people, events, or things that come together to form a more potent whole. And we want to make your whole a whole lot better. So I'm here with my coffee, and we're going to be talking a little bit today about the ACT and ACT specifics. So I know it has been a little bit since we posted. I've had some drama, some life drama. I had my appendix out, so I was out for surgery, and it's been a few weeks since I posted, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm back. So here we are. We're going to talk about the ACT. Why would I want to choose the ACT? What's important about the ACT? Which one to pick? So I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but between the SAT and the ACT is my favorite. I do a lot of tutoring for ACT, and I lean a little bit more toward ACT than I do to SAT. But let's talk a little bit about it and some very big specifics about it, about the sections there are. Now, on the ACT, we have several sections. We have English, math, reading, science, and there's an optional writing section. So reading, English, math, reading, science, and optional writing. You can do the essay if you want to or not. Now, what kind of stuff is kind of covered on the ACT? Well, when we're talking about English, we're really talking about grammar. They talk a lot about grammar and how you use certain words. There'll be questions on which form it should be, past, present, future, things like that. There will be some words in context, but mostly it's a lot about word usage. Then in your math section, the math is a little bit different. The math is very, very quick. This is a very, unlike the other sections, unlike the SAT, the ACT is very straightforward. The questions can be very, very long, but they're not very hard to decipher. Straightforward. The point of the test is not to trick you. The point of the test is to see what you actually know. So very straightforward questions, but they're straightforward, but you don't have much time. So on the math, it's 60 minutes and 60 questions. So you have a minute a question. And it's very, very fast. So you have to be like a ninja. Now, for scoring, it's scored on a score of 1 to 36. So each section, math, reading, science, and English, you get a score of 1 to 36. And then they average that score together, and that's what your total score is. So a 36 is a perfect score. 18 to 20 is an average score. And anything in the higher 20s is really good. So just to give you a reference, sorry, I have a fan club here today. My fan club is my little, I don't know if you can hear him, but my fan club is my 5-month-old is here visiting with us today. He's not usually here, but he's here visiting, so he's giving his 2 cents in. Apparently, he also thinks that ACT is better. I mean, you know, he's going to follow his mama's lead. But so the score is those 4 scores averaged and put together. And I was saying that an 18 to 20 is average, and anything in your high 20s is really good. So depending on the school you want to go to, you can look up and see what kind of score they recommend. For an example, Harvard wants like a 33. So a 33 would be your Harvard level for scoring. So kind of putting in perspective what you're looking for. Bright Futures here in Florida are your upper 20s, so you're kind of looking to see what you want from there. Also, another big question is there a penalty for wrong answers? Well, no, there is not. The ACT based solely on what answers you get correct. It counts how many are right, not how many are wrong. So that's kind of interesting. You can also choose your scores that you want to keep. So if you take the ACT and you do really well, and then the next time you do lower, it doesn't matter. You get to keep your highest score. difficulty levels. So how was it ranked on the difficulty of each passage? Well, the English and the reading sections, the difficulty is just random. So there are 4 reading sections, and it's random how hard they or easy are. The math sections usually get harder as you go across the test. So they start out easy and get harder. So it always happens. And sometimes you're doing it and you're like, how are these all of a sudden harder? I thought I was doing well. Well, it's set up like that. And the same way with the science. The science starts out easier, and as you go along through the test, it gets harder. So you have to kind of know that. When you're taking that math test, your easier ones are at the beginning, so you can go a little bit faster at the beginning, and then make sure you give yourself a little more time to go slower at the end. This math section, let's talk about just the math really quick. There's a lot of arithmetic on it, but usually Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. There's some geometry, a little bit of trig. And on the ACT math, they doesn't give you any formulas. You have to actually know your formulas beforehand. But any formulas that you are required to know are kind of common knowledge formulas that you would know anyway. So it does help to prep a little bit so you kind of know those formulas. Now, kind of remember that the ACT is only offered 6 times a year. So you only have 6 chances to catch it when you do February, April, June, July, September, October, December. If you are in Florida, the ACT reading is, if you do not pass your 10th grade FSA, the ACT reading can take the place of that. So if you don't pass the FSA, 10th grade FSA reading test, you can take the ACT score to do that for that. And remember, because it's only offered 6 times, you do have to usually register 6 weeks before the test date. So you kind of have to plan when you're taking it. I think there is a late registration fee, but you do have to go ahead online and apply for it for more of it. So that's kind of some general overview. I think that the biggest differences between the SAT and the ACT is on the SAT, you don't have as much time. Okay, the SAT is a little bit, gives you more time. The ACT is much faster. So if you're good at discerning, that's the one. Another thing that's a big difference is there's a science section, which to me is really just another reading section, and is really good. It's really good to do that, to prep for that. So, and it's 1/4 of your total score. So if you kind of haven't taken the time to study that science section, it kind of hurts you a little bit. Another one, and remember, it doesn't test specific science concepts. So you don't have to know everything about science. You just have to know how to read questions and interpret graphs really on it. You can use the calculator for the whole test. The SAT has a no calculator section, so the ACT does have a calculator that you can use. And remember, there's no formulas, and so you want to make sure that you are keeping your scores up on that, practicing. So the more you practice something, the better you get at it. That's the way these tests are made. So here's the good news on your ACT and SAT. They can be a little bit sorry, I was distracted there by peanut gallery, but you can get better at your score. If you come back with a low score, it is easy to get better on because it goes faster, and because the more you practice, the better you get. Sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. Refocus here. The more you practice, the better you get. It's like anything. If you have someone who's good at sports, they're good because they practice for hours a day. I actually have known someone that I have helped tutor. I mean, it was all because of me. I wish I could say that, but this student was an exceptional student who's gotten a perfect score on their ACT. And they got a perfect score because they literally practiced the ACT a couple hours every day for about 6 weeks, until they got really good at taking the test and they knew what type of questions they were going to ask. So the ACT is easy. You can beat it and you can get a better score if you practice. So we're looking for a composite score of like a 28 is in the 98th percentile. Only 98% of students can get a score that's high. That's that high. So you can practice and get your score up. So that's the good news. And you don't really always need a specific tutor. Now, I like to help because I think there are strategies you can get for reading and science specifically for the ACT. But really the whole key is practice, 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 practice. The more you practice that test, the more you can. If you get one of these books that has 10 practice tests, that's probably the best advice I could give you for acing this or doing better on it. Practice all 10 sections. Do every single problem, and by the time you're done, you'll start to see the pattern. Your brain will start having muscle memory and pick up on the type of questions that are asked and how they're answered. So hopefully that helped you a little bit about the ACT, a little bit more information of it. You know, if you're trying to decide between the ACT and the SAT, I would say go ACT specifically if you are strong in math. The ACT leans toward someone who's stronger in math because it's quicker and straightforward. I really like the ACT because the questions are straightforward and they're not trying to trick you. And so that's pretty much works for me personally. But hopefully that was that. If you have any questions about it or any thoughts, you can comment on this video or make sure you like our page and pass it on, and I will be back hopefully this week again for an extra shot of espresso or other shot. So hopefully if you have any questions or any thoughts on the ACT or SAT, give us a comment, and we look forward to hearing from y'all. And don't forget, you're not alone. We are here to help.